A non-battle manga is a type of battle manga where characters have fights, like in regular battle manga, but these fights take the form of some other activity outside of physical combat. In this video, I will be using Death Note, The Promised Neverland, and Bakuman as my examples to show what and what not to do when writing a non-battle manga. I'll start with Death Note. Death Note's unique style of battle comes in the form of strategic and tactical moves. The antagonist tries to uncover Kira's identity, while Light tries to prevent them from learning anything and kill them with the Death Note. Battles with L have the added elements of L trying to prove that Light is Kira and to prevent Light from killing him. Examples of good battles would be Ray Pember, Naomi Misara, and L. In the first two battles, Light is doing most of the strategizing while his opponent simply reacts, but against L, since he is trying to prove that Light is Kira, both are attacking each other and setting up traps. Light's assistance from Misa, Mikami, and Kiyomi make the fights even more tactical. Death Note as a whole begins to fall off when Light loses his memories and starts working with L. Not only is the theme of what is justice lost, but the great rivalry is replaced with something far weaker and less engaging. The new antagonist, Kyosuke Higuchi, isn't as smart as the previous antagonist, nor does he have a consistent effect on the story. In part 2, Nier is the main antagonist. He's smart, but he's not as engaging of a character as the other three, and he is far away from Light for a majority of the story, meaning that barely any battles happen with him. This is the same problem that Kyosuke had. The three good antagonists were in close proximity to Light, allowing for a battle, and in L's case, several. Maneuvers including Light loaning pages to Mikami and Kiyomi were smart, but there wasn't an equally intelligent antagonist to use these against. Death Note battles work when the antagonist is around Light's intelligence. Light and the antagonist must also be in close proximity so that their battles with the mind can frequently take place. When Death Note sacrificed either of these, it decreased in quality. Next is The Promised Neverland. The manga's style of battle revolves around the protagonist sneaking around and gathering info and tools, creating plans to escape, and keeping all of this hidden from their opponents. Their opponents try to slow them down or stop their plans and get them to slip up. Examples of good battles would be Isabelle and Crone. This manga begins to fall off when the protagonists leave the farm, because the battle style completely changes. Now the characters primarily fight with guns. While arcs like Goldie Pond and Return to Gracefield try to bring back elements of strategy and espionage, the former and a majority of the story still heavily rely on guns as the primary form of combat. Neverland battles work when it is centered around espionage, deception, and smart strategies. While there were physical attributes to the strategies, the protagonists never used physical combat in Gracefield. Their opponents outmatched them in size and strength, which is why they had to fight like this to begin with. Last is Bakuman. In Bakuman, all combatants draw and write their manga in an attempt to get on the top of Jump's rankings. Additionally, some mangaka struggle with their manga, partners, editors, and even their own body. All of the battles in Bakuman are good, and this is because the battle style never changes, and unsurprisingly, the story never falls off either. Additionally, the primary antagonist remains as the biggest one for the entire duration of the manga and anime, eventually becoming their final hurdle at the end. There are also smaller battles against mangaka in between, along with issues of what manga to make and friction between the main duo. In conclusion, a common trend in non-battle manga seems to be that when the authors start trying to change the antagonist, the battle style also shifts into something less interesting. Death Note's first three antagonists were all detectives or FBI agents. Once it switched from this and made its antagonist a businessman, the battle style changed and it began to fall off. Neverland started with a mother and a sister as the antagonists, but once it switched to monsters, the style of combat changed and the story began to fall off as well. Bakuman, however, not only kept the same major antagonist, but most of the antagonists were mangaka battling for the top spot in the rankings, just like the protagonists, which is how it started and ended. While I think the antagonist can be effectively changed, as seen in Death Note, the style of battle should not, as I have yet to see a manga that does so and doesn't fall off. Changing the style of battle means getting rid of what caught the interest of your viewers and made the story successful to begin with. It also means moving into a battle style that is usually less interesting than the initial style.